Okay, let's get right into it. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this explainer today because we are going way, way beyond basic trivia. We're looking at a country we all kind of think we know, Italy. But actually, scratch that. We're going to unpack its layers in a way you've probably never seen before. So get comfortable and let's uncover the true multidimensional story of Italy together. Okay, let's dive into this. How exactly is Sri Lanka uniquely connected to Italy? I mean, it seems like a completely unexpected pairing, right? Geographically, they are literal worlds apart. But socially and economically, there's this deeply relatable modern connection binding these two nations together. And honestly, before we look at the ancient ruins or the famous food, understanding this very human connection is just the perfect lens to start our journey today. To make sense of such a massive topic, we've broken it down into 5 key themes. 1. The Sri Lankan connection. 2. Nations within a nation. 3. Family, food, and Ferraris. 4. Shadows of the past. And finally, 5. A legacy of global genius. Let's hit it. Chapter 1. The Sri Lankan connection. So, Italy is actually home to a massive Sri Lankan expatriate community. And we're not talking about just a small, isolated group here. This is a highly vital workforce that generates a significant economic impact through regular remittances sent back home. Whole families and communities absolutely rely on the Italian economy. But this bond isn't purely financial either. Remember those terrifying early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, when Italy was hit incredibly hard and became an early epicenter for the virus? Well, those shockwaves, that immense worry, it was felt deeply right here in Sri Lanka. It was a shared timeline of anxiety and hardship, which really just proves how intertwined these two distinct cultures have become. Moving on to Chapter 2, Nations Within a Nation. Now, did you know that Italy completely surrounds 2 fully independent microstates? We've got Vatican City and San Marino, just existing entirely within Italy's borders. It's wild. San Marino is this fascinating historic republic, but the Vatican, that is truly unique. Despite being literally the smallest independent state in the world, it wields massive global influence as the absolute center of the Roman Catholic faith. It's a country within a city within another country. But the surprises inside Italy aren't just political. They are intensely geological. Between Mount Etna, Stromboli, and Mount Vesuvius, Italy boasts 3 incredibly famous active volcanoes. In fact, it has the highest number of active volcanoes in all of Europe. This dramatic, fiery geology has literally shaped the land, the agriculture, and the entire history of the Italian peninsula for thousands of years. So where does the very identity of this dramatic land actually come from? Well, the word Italia historically derives from ancient tribes, and it translates roughly to land of calves or cattle. And this brilliantly illustrates the surprising, ancient, and deeply agricultural origins of the country's famous name. I mean, long before the Roman Empire or high fashion even existed, this was a land defined by its vital livestock and farming. Chapter 3. Family, Food, and Ferraris. We absolutely have to start with the bedrock of Italian culture, the family. In Italy, there are incredibly strong family bonds, to the point where adults often live with their parents well into their 30s. Now, in a lot of Western cultures, leaving the nest at 18 is kind of the expected norm. But this tight-knit, multi-generational living, that's something that many in Asian cultures can instantly relate to. Family is everything there. It's the absolute center of social life, economic support, and tradition. And what brings that family together at the end of the day? Food and drink, of course. Italy is actually the #1 global producer of wine, regularly surpassing even France. Think about that. Wine isn't just a beverage in Italy, it is an agricultural art form. It's a massive pillar of their lifestyle that they so proudly export to every single corner of the earth. Speaking of exports, beyond agriculture, Italian culture absolutely dominates global luxury. We're talking Armani, Prada, Gucci, and Valentino in high fashion. And in automotive engineering, wow. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Alfa Romeo, Maserati. These aren't just brands, they are global symbols of extreme luxury, speed, and meticulous design. Italian aesthetics have essentially conquered the globe, setting the absolute gold standard for what it means to be premium. But their cultural exports go way deeper than just clothes and fast cars. Think about this for a second. Italy is the birthplace of the piano, the guitar, and the violin. The foundational instruments that make up almost all of modern global music, they were conceptualized and crafted right here. The Italian contribution to the auditory world is simply immeasurable. Chapter 4: Shadows of the Past. Now, looking back, the 20th century marked a highly pivotal and devastating era for the country. First, we see the rise of Benito Mussolini, who ruled the country for roughly 2 decades. Second, this era saw the establishment of fascism as a political system within Italy. And third, this culminated in a consequential alliance with Germany during the Second World War. These are stark historical facts, and understanding this chronological sequence is just absolutely crucial to grasping the full, complex picture of modern European history. Another complex shadow here is the legacy of the mafia. Our source material notes that this organized crime syndicate originated in the southern island region of Sicily. From there, it spread globally, most notably during the large waves of migration to America. This exportation of crime gave rise to infamous figures like Al Capone, and while it eventually birthed an entire genre of Hollywood cinema that continues to romanticize a very harsh reality today. And looking at the present day, Italy faces a very significant socioeconomic challenge. There's a severe demographic shift happening right now. It's characterized by a rapidly aging population combined with incredibly low birth rates. This is a critical issue. By placing them alongside countries like Japan and Germany who are dealing with similar shifts, it means Italy faces massive economic strain. You have a shrinking workforce trying to support one of the oldest populations in the world, which could drastically limit their global economic standing in the coming decades. Chapter 5: A Legacy of Global Genius. Let this statistic really sink in. 50 plus. More than 50. Italy holds the highest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites of any country on the planet. From ancient Roman ruins to brilliant Renaissance cities, they are the ultimate global guardians of human history and architectural achievement. They literally preserve the past for the rest of the world to marvel at. And who exactly were the architects of that history? Well, we're talking about Leonardo da Vinci, Christopher Columbus, Marco Polo, Michelangelo, Galileo Galilei, Enrico Fermi, Maria Montessori. So the crucial point is that this single geographic location produced a disproportionate amount of the individuals who completely revolutionized global art, scientific discovery, education, and exploration. The modern world as we know it was literally drafted by these minds. And that relentless pursuit of excellence extends right into the modern sporting arena. Specifically, their 4 massive, historic victories at the FIFA World Cup. You know, whether it's on a canvas, in a laboratory, or on a football pitch, their passion for being the absolute best is undeniable. Which brings us to a final question I want to leave you with today. How has a country with such a complex, turbulent history, from ancient tribes and devastating wars to modern demographic challenges, managed to shape the modern world so profoundly? Through its people, its art, its science, and its unbreakable spirit, Italy is a true masterpiece of contradictions. I really hope this explainer has given you a richer, more structured understanding of this incredible nation. Keep questioning the world around you, keep learning, and hey, thank you so much for joining me for this exploration.